السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته أعزائي الطلاب. نعود مرة أخرى لنكمل موضوعنا noun phrase. So dear students, I'm back to continue with noun phrase. So as you see here, we have sentence, okay, we have noun phrase, and then we have verb phrase. So a verb phrase usually consists of a verb and a noun phrase. Okay, let me remind you that we have different verbs in English. We have linking verbs. A linking verb is not followed by an object, remember this. And we have intransitive verb. Intransitive verb doesn't require objects at all, and the transitive verbs are followed by objects. So if the verb is intransitive, okay, so here you will not have this one noun phrase. So you don't have a line going down to, pinpoint the noun phrase. Just, okay, verb phrase, then you will have a line going down, horizontal line, just for the verb, okay, because this is intransitive verb. So it's not important to think that all verbs must be followed by objects or direct objects. Linking verbs are followed by either a noun phrase or adjective phrase. We don't want to make things so complex for you. Okay, here we have I, that is a noun phrase. You have a pronoun. So in the exam, I may ask you a question. A noun phrase may consist of a single word that is a pronoun. Or I would say myself can be considered as a noun phrase, or the objective pronoun here is a noun phrase. So remember this. As you see, both, so this is a single word, so this is a verb phrase. So I don't want to keep repeating this because some students until now don't believe that a single word can form a phrase. So I bought a new computer game. So that is noun, it's not an adjective. That is not an adjective, it is a noun. So when we have this mark or this sign, it means that we have double noun, okay? Double. So remember we have computer and then we have game, but that is the head noun. That is the head noun. Okay, that is the most important, okay, element in the noun phrase. The analysis reflects this fact by including both the noun pre-modifier and the head noun under the name and note. Okay, we have post modification. Oh, post modification. Something that follows something. Post modifiers are constituents which modify the head noun that appear after the noun. So when I say post modifiers, it means a word coming after the head noun or the noun. Two ways to post modify a noun are, okay, so two ways. Okay, if I say he is in a class, he's sitting next to me, so you will find a prepositional phrases. Okay, we say the dog chased the cat. You see, the dog chased the cat with the three legs. Okay, having three legs, the cat chased the girl. So as you see, that is a verb phrase or a prepositional phrase, and the head noun is the preposition with. So remember, we call this post modifier. Well, the point is that, dear students, a verb phrase must consist of a noun phrase. So if we have here a verb phrase, then we have two lines. The first line is for a preposition and the second line is for the noun phrase, and from the noun phrase we have two stems. Okay, the stem number one, or okay, line number one is a three, that is the quantifier or determiner, and then we have the noun legs. Number two, relative clause. So relative clause usually post modify the noun phrase. So relative clauses are post modifiers. The cat which is lying on the mat hates dogs. So the cat, here we have a relative clause which is lying on the mat. So that is a clause. Here we have subject, and we have verb, and we have a prepositional phrase, hates dogs. So we can say the cat hates dogs. What, I mean, which cat? The cat which is lying on the mat. Or we can say the cat lying on the mat hates dogs. And we call this adjectival clause. So here we have two both modifiers for the noun phrase, that is the verb phrase, and then the relative clause or the adjectival clause. Okay, it's very important to remember that the prepositional phrase must have two elements. Okay, number one, the preposition and the noun phrase. If I say under the table, in the tree, on the desk, okay, after tomorrow, and so on. So once again, the prepositional phrase, PP, also has the function of both modifying the head noun in a noun phrase. The dog chased the cat with 3 legs. The prepositional phrase after the noun is acting or acts to modify the noun. I mean, has the function of both modifier. I mean, to modify the noun by more narrowly defining or describing. So just what kind of cat? Is it the cat which has 3 legs, not 4 legs? The prepositional phrase belongs closer to the cat and forms part of the noun phrase. If I say, I hit the boy with a stick, I hit the boy with a tube. So I hit the boy with a tube. So with a tube is a verb phrase, both modifying the boy that I hit. So hopefully that you've got the point. The prepositional phrase belongs closely to the cat and forms part of the noun phrase. Okay, function modifying the head noun. The pronoun, so I mean, it's the function? Just modifying the head noun. That is the function. The pronoun it can be substituted for the direct object of the sentence. I would say the dog chased it with 3 legs, or it chased. Sorry, the dog chased it with 3 legs, or it chased the cat with 3 legs, and so on. The dog chased it, as you see, it. The pronoun it has replaced the entire expressions, the cat with 3 legs. Once again, the object pronoun it doesn't only, replace the noun phrase, but the noun phrase and the prepositional phrase. Okay, the cat with 3 legs. Consider the question. Do you prefer this cat with 3 legs or that one? Do you prefer this one or that one? Do you prefer this cat or that one? Which cat do you prefer, this one or that one? Or the cat with the 3 legs or the other cat? The term one, as I explained before, obviously replaces the cat with the 3 legs. That one. I like when you say, I like that jacket. I like that jacket. Remember the sentence again, listen carefully. I like that jacket. That jacket is a noun phrase. Okay, which one? Which one? It means which jacket? The blue one on the right, or the jacket with the birds on it. I mean the jackets with the birds on it. I mean which have pictures of birds on it. So once again, I like the jacket with the birds on it. تعجبني الجاكيت التي يوجد عليها الطائر أو الطائران أو الطيور, with the bird on it. Okay, so we have with the bird on it is a verb phrase which both modify the head noun, which is jacket. Okay, here we say, as you see, we have subject, noun phrase, verb phrase. So we have verb phrase, that is the noun phrase, determiner noun. So that will be repeated. Okay, you see, This is the nude. We have noun, okay, noun, cat. With 3 we have another, okay, another noun that is 3 because this is a quantifier, and we have legs. So these things are not so important, but the point is that, okay, the verb phrase must have a preposition and must have a noun phrase. Must have a noun, a phrase. Okay, remember this. The dog chased the cat with the 3 legs. So the dog is sentence, is subject, and the chased is verb, transitive verb, that is verb, not be, or you can say predicate al-khabar. The cat with the 3 legs. The cat with the 3 legs, that is the direct object. So once again, okay, I would say the noun phrase and the verb phrase function as direct object or object of the verb chase, because this is a transitive verb that must take an object. Remember, a transitive verb must take an object. So the immediate constituent, cat, with the 3 legs, is again labeled and nude to indicate that it is smaller than the noun phrase but larger than noun. Okay, so once again, as you see, if you say, okay, cat with the 3 legs is again labeled noun. So because here if you say the dog, it chased the cat. The cat, so this is a modifier with the 3 legs. It chased. You cannot say the dog it chased with the 3 legs. No, this is absolutely unacceptable. So remember, the cat, that is a very important element in the sentence. The cat, here we have the prepositional phrase. Remember, that's why we have an. A relative clause introduces, you have to keep this in mind. A relative clause introduces a kind of subsidiary sentence into the main clause. So, or you can say subsidiary means a clause, جملة داعمة تعطي معلومات إضافية. Or subordinate clause, you can call this. Example, the cat which is lying on the mat loves dogs. The man who lives next door is my cousin. The teacher who wears a black jacket teaches us semantics, and so on. The relative clause can be taken out of the sentence, but it doesn't make sense on its own. In Arabic, we can say إذا تم حذف جملة شبه الموصول فهذا لا يعيق الجملة، لكن ما يجب أن نفهمه أن نفس الجملة relative clause لا يمكن أن تحمل معنى كامل. فنفسها حينما نقول التي تجلس على الطاولة، التي تجلس على السجادة، الذي يسكن هنا. So it doesn't have big meaning. That's why we call this a complex sentence, something that we explained in the previous meetings. Which is the example shown is a relative pronoun. So which, who, that, all of them are relative pronouns, so called because it stands in a place of and relates to the cat. Other relative pronouns are who, whose, whom, etc. The girl who was chased by the dog was crying, so the girl was crying, so you can drop or just take out who was chased. So the sentence will have meaning in itself, and that as in. Okay, so remember that, which is a relative clause. You have it in another example. He kicked a can, علبة, that was lying on the road. He kicked a can that was lying on the road. So once again, here you notice that the relative clause, okay, both modifying the noun can, that is the noun phrase can, that was lying on the road. He kicked a can. So if you just have full stop, the sentence has its full meaning. The part of sentences which is left when the relative clause is removed can stand on its own. So the part of sentence which is left when the relative clause is removed can stand on its own. إذن هنا ما تبقى من الجملة، يعني الجملة المتروكة تبقى ذات معنى تام إذا حذفنا جملة شبه. المقصود the girl was crying. I need full stop here. Okay, you have to end the sentence with a full stop. The clause that is more complete. Okay, the cat loves dogs is called the mini clause. So the cat loves dogs. This is sentence number one. If you remember, okay, when we focused on complex sentence, we have a clause within a clause within a clause and so on. And we call this recursive rules. Recursive rules, if you remember, in syntax number one. While the other part, which is lying on the mat, is a subordinate clause, or you call it a clause number two, or sentence two, that is subsidiary sentence or supporting sentence. In this case, the type of subordinate clause is a relative clause, or you can call it adjectival clause, or جملة شبه الصفة or صفة. Therefore, the relative clause functions to both modify a head noun. The man who lives, the teacher who teach, the one who's sitting at the back, okay, the one who's lying, okay, on the sofa is Ahmad Abu Anza, and so on. So in this case, the cat. This means that the noun phrase, the cat, and the relative clause, which is lying on the mat, both function together at a higher level as one constituent, the subject. Okay, noun phrase of the sentence, etc. If I say the man who is watching a video on his cell phone is the cameraman, or is Ahmad Abu Anza. So we say, who is sitting at the back, who is watching a movie, who is, following something on YouTube. All these are additional information, and they are called relative clauses or adjectival clauses. So call them whatever you want. So it loves dogs. It loves dogs. You can say it which, because it is indefinite or unspecified. Cat, which is lying on the mat, is also analyzed as one constituent. Okay, now node, because it can be replaced by one. Okay, which one you can say? Okay, look at the cat under the tree. Which one? Okay, the cat with the black hair, the cat which has 3 legs, and so on. Look at that one. Which one? Look at that man. Which one? And so on. So you can use one to replace a noun phrase, or sometimes a verb phrase, or sometimes a relative clause. Do you prefer this cat which is lying on the mat, or that one? Because you don't want to repeat. Okay. Do you like the red car or that one? Okay. Do you like that girl or that one? Etc. So you can like, do you like that girl who is sitting next to the window? Do you like the girl sitting next to the window? The subordinate relative clause has been analyzed here in terms of its constituent parts. When a constituent is considered as a whole unit and not in terms of its individual components, it is isolated, it is notated as the tree diagram by a triangle. Okay, thank you to the students. And now, okay, we want to move to the verb phrase, okay? Okay, we finished with noun phrase, and now moving to the verb phrase. We don't want to spend more time on the verb phrase, okay, dear students? So the verb phrase, I think that you have an idea now about the verb phrase. There are 6 classes of verb: transitive, intransitive, detransitive. Intensive means linking verb. Intensive means linking verb, complex, transitive, and the prepositional verbs. Each class of verb has its own constituents. Okay, well, I don't want to explain them in detail now because we don't have enough time. So someone may ask, what is a transitive verb? A transitive verb, as I said, must have an object. So a verb phrase with a transitive verb normally has a direct object. So example, the girl likes that dog. This girl likes that dog. So like is a transitive verb, and that dog is direct object. That dog is the direct object of the verb likes. Therefore, likes is a transitive verb. If I say she's watching a movie, he's playing tennis, he had a breakfast, okay, all these verbs have objects. Okay, I want to take a photograph, I need to drink water, I saw a movie, so saw, drink, watch, play are the transitive verbs because they take object. I want water, you can say I want. I want, you want what? I need what? I need money, I need some time, I want something, etc. I hope he will come. I hope so. So as you see, these verbs must have objects. Kate hugged the baby. Hugged the baby. The dog found a bone. Jenny hit him. So hug, find, and hit are transitive verbs. The meaning will not be there unless they are followed by noun phrase functioning as objects. None of these transitive verbs can be used in a verb phrase without an object. Noun phrase, Kate hugged, doesn't have meaning. The dog found what? Jenny hit what? So you will find that the object answered the question, what did he find? Okay, what did she hug? Whom did she hug? Jenny hit, what did Jenny hit, and so on. See the following tree diagram, and now things will be much clearer and easier to understand. Okay, we have the sentence, we have noun phrase and verb phrase. Here we have verb, and then okay, from the verb phrase we have a line which is divided into two other lines. That is determiner and noun phrase depending on the kind of noun phrase. Kate hugged the baby. Kate is a subject, and hugged is a transitive verb, and the baby, which is a noun phrase, is the object. So Kate subject, hugged is verb, the baby is object. So therefore, remember, and you have to keep this, please. Take notes now. Try to take some notes. Verb phrase, okay, we consist of a transitive verb plus direct object. Or we can direct object, okay, consisting of noun phrase and so on. The transitive verb are different, okay, unlike transitive verbs. Intransitive verbs are not followed by objects. I mean, when we represent them on the tree diagram, the situation will be different because such intransitive verb is not followed by object, so we don't have noun phrase, but it can be followed by adverb or adverb phrase. The transitive verb is a class of verb which doesn't take an object. So example, Ken snores, the baby cried, she is sleeping, they are falling, it is raining. Okay, so we have sentence, noun phrase, and then we have verb phrase. Noun phrase, we have noun, that is the proper noun اسم العلم Ken or Sarah, Miriam, and then the verb phrase we have just okay one line, that is the verb that is intransitive snores. But if we have Ken snores loudly, so here we have verb phrase and adverb phrase. So adverb phrase we have adverb which is loudly. Okay, Ken snores. Therefore, verb phrase, we have a transitive verb. So here, the verb phrase only consists of intransitive verb. As I said, a verb phrase can consist of a single word, that is the verb. There are also other constituents. We have 2 minutes, dear students, to finish. There are also other constituents which can occur with the intransitive verb, but they are optional rather than obligatory. They can appear, but they don't have to. Constituents which act as adverbials, for example, adverb phrase and a verb phrase behave in this way. So you can say, Ken snores very loudly, the baby cried in the night. Thank you so much, dear students. As you see, we have here the adverb phrase, and here we have the verb phrase. Hopefully, inshallah, we are going to deal with these things later. نلتقي إن شاء الله في محاضرة أو في لقاء آخر كي نكمل تلك المواضيع. بارك الله فيكم.